Hello, beautiful souls. Lloydlightside here from Lightside Energy Healing. I've just come on today just to sort of share some messages that I've been getting, where we are energetically at the moment, and the opportunities that are here for us now. So what Spirit's been telling me is we've all been on a bit of a collective shadow journey in our feminine. We've been tapping into all our blocks, all our fears, really. That's what all our blocks are, as fear. Anything that blocks us from opening our hearts, keeping our hearts open, being our raw, authentic truth, really, and speaking and acting out of pure love and pure intention. So there's been a lot of attachment to the outside world, the timelines that have already been created by the powers that be, and a lot of deep diving into a lot of the agendas and a lot of what's been going on in order for us to really dig into where we've given our power away in the past, and also giving our power away and leaning into the fear side of these agendas, and allowing that fear to almost control us again. So we've had to dip back in and step back over that threshold in order for us to see where we are not in our sovereignty, that we're the narratives outside us that we believe are too big and too powerful for us to change or that still hold control over us. But this journey and this stage of the journey was very necessary for us all to really understand our true creative power, and that's all of humanity, everybody here, are all creator beings, and they're all able to create their own realities. And as such, when you understand that you are a creator and there's infinite possibilities out there, we're able to tap in to whatever we choose. And as such, there's really, really good and there's really, really bad. But whatever we give our attention to is what we see more of in our reality. Obviously, as a collective, as humanity has collective timelines that are always running. The way the world now is, all of media and mass media and bombarding with information, fear propagandas from the governments and things like that, because they don't want us to understand our true creator selves, and that we choose our timeline, we construct our timeline, and we construct all aspects of our reality, and that starts within us. And so on this awakening journey, we've been creating and putting our wishes and our desires out there to the universe, and we've already created everything that we want. It's all there in our vortex, and if you can get to a state of peace and quiet where spirit, you're just held in spirit, you can feel that they are there. They are they're just waiting to manifest into our realities. But it's a journey. This whole thing is a journey, and it's step by step. So this darker timelines, the shadow sides of ourselves, has been coming out in father wounds, mother wounds, and where we've tried to control other people in our realities in order to out of our fears. So it may be that you're a parent and your children are growing up, and you struggle to let go of allowing them to create their own reality. You want to steer and guide them, and sometimes overstep the mark or over their learning process and the way they choose to navigate the world, and what they want to be and what they want to do, and how they choose to be that. And a lot of this comes from our own fear abandonment, not our children not needing us anymore, especially if you're a single parent, and you've given up on relationships and things like that, and you've concentrated all your time on your children. It's really hard to then let go and allow them to grow and allow them to experience their life on their own and how they choose. So this is one of the wounds where we try and hold on to people, or we try to control people. The father wound that has been showing up is where a lot of us have born into a paradigm where our fathers weren't present in one way or another. They weren't present like the mother. So our children internalize this as in they didn't love us, or they didn't need us, but they were dancing in a different collective consciousness than what's there now. So obviously, when we were all younger, we most of our parents, the mother would stay at home and the father would be the owner, so he wouldn't be around, and he was trying to provide for the family and provide for everybody, and he took this on as his role. So he almost was sacrificing himself and his time in the family in order to provide. So it's letting go of this feeling that they didn't want to spend time with you, and understanding that the masculine has gone through years and years of programming as that was their role, and carrying these burdens and these stresses of holding up the family and having to work. A lot of masculines would lean into drink, drugs, and things like this in order to let go of the burdens, to escape their worries and their stress, because they felt like they needed to be the one holding things up in that, financially. I'm talking generally. So then a lot of masculines, then if they're put in a position where they need to turn up and show up and be the emotional support in a family, they don't know how to do it. They're not used to it. It's uncomfortable for them, and it comes much more naturally to the mothers, the feminines' energies, because the masculine was taught to not lean into that side of itself, to work hard and just keep soldiering on and be strong. So that's why a lot of us feel either abandoned, or not seen, or not loved by our fathers sometimes. And obviously when they're using drugs and alcohol to escape, they're also lowering their vibrations, and then some of their behaviours and some of the things that they did could be pretty destructive, I should imagine, because they are walking around with all this unprocessed emotion, not knowing how to deal with it, thinking they need to be strong, they need to just hold that, and at some point that's going to blow, and it usually come out when they were drinking. So that was why there's a lot of alcoholics, and the culture of men going to the pubs all the time for their escape. But still, because they're not told not to talk about their emotion, their emotions would either come out when they're really, really drunk, or they'd still try and hold it down. So they'd go to the pubs and just talk about shit, really, like football and light-hearted stuff, because they didn't know how to reach their depths, or lean on anybody else for any help in that way, because of the program of denying that aspect of their self. So what's happening now is it's a great time for us all to forgive the past, forgive everybody and everything that's ever happened to you before now. And a great way to do this is using Ho'oponopono. It's also forgiving ourselves, because we've all been that. We've all been in that narrative. We've been in that closed off, shut down collective timeline that we were born into, and we've behaved in ways that are not always brilliant as well. So we can forgive ourselves. We can't we can't know what we know. We didn't know what we know now, so we need to forgive ourselves for any actions and anything we do. But we also need to lean into the fact that it was supposed to happen. It brought us here now. Everything that has passed and happened, even the horrible things that are going on in the world, are all part of this ascension process. So a lot of this horrible stuff had to come out and be exposed in order for us to break down the systems that don't work, to see the greed and the power hungry and those who are looking to control people. But we all have free will choice, and this is the part we have to respect. So not everybody here wants to lean into their spiritual side. They don't have to. They have their own free will, and we have to respect that. And we are where we are because we chose to awaken. Something inside us chose to awaken. We knew there was more in the world, and at some point, our spirit cracked through, and through it came. But there's some people here who are just here for comfortable lives this time, just easy, go with the flow, not battling anything. And there's others that are here to be the darkness. And when I say darkness, I have I don't see the difference between light and dark anymore. They're both the same, and they both have a divine purpose in life. And they're both equally as important as one another. So I don't judge. I don't good or bad, or I try not to. I still do sometimes. I still have programs that I'm breaking down within myself constantly, and we all are. But this new portal, which is open today, the 6/6 portal, is a higher love portal, basically. We're able to feel the Venus energies, and a higher heart expansion is coming in for us. So it's a perfect time now to just quieten your mind and let go of let go of the outside world, and come back home. Come back home to yourself. Come back into your heart. Get your feels back on. And because the outside world numbs us, and it numbs us so much, and we're bombarded with all these things that look that are dark and scary. But we've got to remember that we've got to look after ourselves. We are the creators of our reality, and we get to choose how we live our lives, and whether we obey the rules or not, whether we want to conform or whether we want something different. We get to decide, and we create every aspect of our lives. But we need to stay in our heart and keep our heart open in order to do that. And that's a very vulnerable place to be. It's very hard just keeping our heart open. And we're not supposed to keep our heart open all the time. There's an ebb and flow in the universe, and each time we're in and out of different states of consciousness. Spirit's been showing me that there's like a natural cycle, like there's the moon cycles, but there's micro cycles. There's like a 3-day cycle where we go through every 3 days we go through a mini cycle of dipping down in consciousness and up again in consciousness. And this is created in order for us to grow and expand. So every 3 days we're getting the opportunity to see things in ourselves that hold us back, that stop us being our true authentic self, speaking our truth, being in our power. And that opportunity can feel very much like we're on stormy seas, depending on whether we're learning from our lessons and learning to let go or break them down piece by piece. And some of these programs are massive, so they last a long time, so it might take 6 months to get out of some things, whereas other smaller things that come to light may only take them 3 days just for you to see it and release it as such. So everything is on waves. Everything is frequency, but all frequencies have waves, and we are frequency. We're vibrational beings, so we're like a sound wave. So there are peaks and troughs in all sound. There has to be highs and lows in pitch, and we are the same, and we are all dancing to the frequency of Mother Earth as well, who's emitting these frequencies, these sound waves from our heart, which come up through us all. Also, the universal energies coming down the same way, meeting inside us in our heart, and it's causing us to grow and expand. So it's just a case of letting go of everything that's happened. Can you release the past? Can you lean into your true creator self? The knowing that you get to choose. No matter what's going on in the outside world, you get to choose what you tune into. We are all beautiful radio receivers, and there's so many frequencies out there. And we're getting the opportunity now to really come into our own frequency and emit our own heart frequency on this physical plane, and keep dancing to our own tune, on our own purpose, and not letting these outside and these other frequencies control us anymore. And that's sovereignty. That's what that is literally what sovereignty means, is that you do not bend, or you do not change who you are for anybody else who's out there. So when you come into your true heart frequency, and you can keep singing from that frequency, that is when you're in your true creative self, and you can create anything you want in your life. So from that place of being in love and loving yourself is where all creation comes from. So if you're looking for a divine relationship, a divine partnership, until you can really love yourself and all aspects of yourself, it's impossible to call in or have a harmonious relationship. And we all have light and dark, and the biggest part now is understanding the alchemy between the light and dark. It's not banishing or destroying or killing, it's learning to accept and love all aspects of ourselves, light and dark, and enabling us to be who we are now, no matter what that is, and that being okay. Not having fear of judgment if we get angry, or if something annoys us, if we shout, if we shut down and don't speak to somebody. That is who we are in that moment. And when we come into conscious relationship with another who loves us unconditionally, and we love ourselves unconditionally, we can accept these sides of us. And as we accept and love these sides of us, we can learn to work with it and see it, and see the patterns, and see what they are, and why it controls us, or why our emotions overwhelm us. And a lot of it is because of fear. It's always because of fear. And once we can love that part of us, we don't give it power anymore. We don't give it the power to stop us from being our vulnerable, authentic selves. And that's where everything is. That's when our heart truly sings. That's when we call in people, is when we're brave, bold, and vulnerable, and real, and being real. And like I say, Karen's taught me so much in this about really being real, and helped me so much, because I've learned to decompartmentalize my emotions, very much so, and I was trained to do that in the police. Obviously, in the police, you're dealing with a lot of unpleasant things, one after the other, all day, every day. It's non-stop. You never rest when you're doing that job, and I can't carry the emotion of going to this place and seeing what's happened to this person to the next job. I have to start again and reset. And it's instant. Sometimes I'll be called away from that one to go to something else before I've even finished dealing with that. That is the nature of the emergency services. We just have to prioritise. So a lot of the time that would mean that we would have to, somebody that needed our help, we just have to leave them and go somewhere else, because somebody else needed our help or was deemed more important. And it's a very hard way hard way to live. So you do almost shut down your emotions, and you judge everything on, well, is it life and death? And that's how we live. We live in a place, well, nobody's dying, it's not important. And we, unfortunately, that's an impact of doing that job. And then when you finish, then you've got to sit with all this, what you've witnessed, what you've seen, what's happened on your shift, and then try and transmute those energies. And that's not easy. So I myself very much learned how to compartmentalize my emotions and to put them aside and just, yeah, act and then deal with them later. And that's not a bad thing. It can be very, very, very useful tool. But if you don't come back to all the things and process them properly, then those energies are still going to impact your life. So why Karen was here in England, we did so much was going on healing wise, but not in a beautiful way. We were just in flow, being guided. But so we had a certain day where we were taken to. We ended up in Bristol, which is somewhere I avoid. That's where I used to work in the police. So all my energy and the old me doesn't like Bristol, because that was where I used to work, and I only really saw the dark side of Bristol. So going there, I had massive resistance in going there in the first place. I didn't really even know it was there. I'd almost just decompartmentalized that part of my life and shut it off. But we ended up there, and it was. So when I got there, I felt horrible and in all this dense energy, because it was just full of my old energy of those experiences and all the things that I had done. So in order to change my world there, I did a meditation right in the center of Bristol in order to anchor my new energies and my divine energies right in the center of the city. And then Spirit took me on a spirit journey, really, through the city, walking the streets that I used to police, and showing me the other side, the side of the city I'd never seen, I'd never appreciated. The beautiful buildings, the beautiful people, the fun, the vibrancy. And I get to rewrite and reprogram that city and the way I see that city in this one day. And it was really amazing. It was hard, because it did bring up a lot of emotions, a lot of memories, and a lot of things that I didn't realize affected me as much as they did. But it was so important. It was so important, because I was holding this massive, dense and dark energy on the biggest city around me, because of that part of me and that part of my life. So this is just an example of how energy affects us, and how the memory of things we've dealt with in the past affects us. So turning back up and being present as you are now, and anchoring that energy to locations and situations, is a massive part of our changing our world as such. Because if there's places you hate because of something that happened there, then you're going to always hold that hate. Or whenever you see that place or go to that place, you're going to be reminded of it. So it's going to make you avoid places and situations. So you're shutting down part of yourself and part of the unlimited nature of the universe, because of something in the past that you can let go of now. And we do this energetically. I mean, obviously, if it's a physical place, then we can visit it or we can send energy to it. But it's exactly the same for our past and any situations we've had in our past with people, relationships, or any traumas that we've had. It all works exactly the same way. We just navigate it in a different way. So that was like a walking meditation, in order for me to tap into all these, but we can do it internally, internal meditation, for any of our wounds and any of these programs, in order to forgive, really forgive ourselves and anybody that we deemed or that ever hurt us. And most of these old wounds were down to their woundings and their. So as we can see it from a higher perspective, first of all, we can understand where the wounds came from. Then we can remove the templates because they were never ours. So it was somebody else's fears or somebody else's bad experiences that either they repeated or they held inside themselves and didn't deal with emotionally, so they didn't get counselling, didn't get help, and that wasn't available like it is now. These alternative therapies and things like this were obviously, like spiritual practices were very sort of far out there then, and there wasn't the support networks, and welfare wasn't even considered. Humanity was much harder and much tougher at that time. That wasn't that long ago. We're changing so quickly, and we've got to see it. We're growing so fast, and we're starting to understand that our personal welfare and dealing and facing our own demons is the way to true freedom and sovereignty. And it is spreading. It's spreading like wildfire across the world. The Great Awakening is happening. I mean, all these things that are going on, like COVID, the vaccine rollout, the lockdowns, have all been supporting us. I know it seems harsh and not fair, but it is breaking down. We're seeing what doesn't work. We're seeing everything. We're being shown. It's all being highlighted, and we, light workers, those who are already awakened and have seen these things, we're stuck to our guns, and have been so brave to highlight to other people, the people who are asleep or started to question things, highlighting to them some of these programs and what's going on outside, and Spirit wants to just commend us and know that the shift has happened. It's out there. It's out there now. It's everything's being exposed. Everything's coming to the light. The truth is coming to light. And we've done what we needed to do, and it was fucking hard. It was really, really hard to dip into, because we had to dip into all these timelines in order to see them for what they were and understand them. And then we had to feel them, because we were collectively transmuting these energies for everybody, to expose them, to be brave enough to expose them. And we could only expose them by feeling into them and becoming raw and authentic and allowing our deep emotions and our outrage and all these things, and are not sitting there and just accepting anymore, to come forth, and to come through us, to channel our emotions and allow them to take over us sometimes through our triggers, and things like that, in order to expose it, to get it out, to share it with other people. And it is out there now. Everybody is questioning everything now. I see it everywhere in my world. Everybody, and it's just a matter of time before these systems, the old way, power, greed, and control, it's all diminishing, because we're understanding that they only have that because we allow it, and we bow down to what they say, not knowing that we can create our own reality. And even with anything, with our energy, if we believe that COVID has power over us, it has power over us. If we fear COVID has power over us. If you believe you're a free and sovereign being, and your body heals itself, there's a natural ability to deal with whatever, and if I am exposed to this virus, it will have no effect on me, or have no effect on you. It is really understanding that our beliefs are where we give all our power. So there's lots of false gods, that's what I call them. So the media, those who listen to the media, and that is right, they worship it like God, and they believe it like it's the gospel truth. And this is ways we give our power away over and over again. And the only truth we ever need to believe in is our own. And we also need to accept that our truths change. We come into higher light and higher understandings of things, and we shift our beliefs as well. So everybody who's out there, if they're getting vaccines or whatever they're doing, is their choice, and it's from wherever they are in their level of consciousness. And there's no need to judge them, fear them. They're on their own path, on their own journey, and they're exactly where they're supposed to be, just like we are. And once we can come from that space, there's no need to judge them, and there's no need to fear their judgment of us. Because if they're judging us, it's just because they're not able to see through our eyes. They don't see through our awareness, or they're just they're living in a completely different reality than we are. They don't realize their own power and their own strength, their own innate ability to heal themselves, their body, their surroundings, and not be controlled by these outside forces or the news and this sort of thing. So, like I said, it's a real amazing time now to really, really let go of the fear, of feeding the fear. So if there's something you're afraid of, then it's a really good time to face it. So if you fear the hundreds of timelines that have been created out of COVID and the effects of the vaccination and what that's going to do to people, if we hold that fear that people are going to die because of it, then we're going to be feeding that narrative. And Spirit's told me that, and I know there's obviously healers out there who can remove any effects that this vaccine has on people. We're able to do that. So it's not fearing, it's not the be all and end all, it's not the end of the world. And some people actually came here to experience this, and it's an old timeline. So as all of humanity is shifting, we're all the energies on this planet that have ever been here were present, unless somebody's changed them. And so when something crops up on a cycle again, similar to Atlantis, so at the end of Atlantis before the final fall, there was a lot of similar things going on where they were playing with genetics, playing with God's creations, using science instead of their spiritual powers, leaning more into the scientific way. And there was genetic modification going on and taking place on humans. And this is why so many of us have this real big fear of what's going on with the vaccine. The vaccine, because it's that old energy. It's that same energy, so it's the same cycle going on again. But we're here as sovereign beings, and when you realize that you are the creator of your reality, we get to rewrite that story. We get to change it. We get to alchemize that old energy in ourselves, then in our world, and change that story and change it. So those out there who believe the vaccine, they have complete faith in the vaccine, and because they believe COVID's real, then if that's their belief system, then they're going to be safe from COVID, aren't they? If that's what they generally believe in their heart. So we don't need to judge them. And there is this fear that what they can do, or those people are going to be controlled by mind, or there's manipulation of their DNA. It's all reversible. And us on our healing journeys is what we've been doing. We've been reverse engineering our light bodies, our true selves, our DNA, back to its core blueprint, that unaltered, untapped, angelic presence. It's 555, as I say this on my clock. We're able to do that if we choose, but we get to choose. We've got free will choice in all of this. So if we want to be reptilian and work on our reptilian mind because we want power and we want money and we want control, then that's the part of us that's going to come forth. We're all just channeling all these energies and allowing these energies to flow through us. And there's so many here that we have multiple options and we can change who we are on a day-to-day basis, or based on our needs or what we need on that day. But the angels, the angelic realm is really, really around us now, helping us to see through all the smoke and mirrors, all the bullshit, and allowing us to rise up to just start to receive everything we've created. We've all been asking for, I don't know, our twin flames, our intimate relationships, close new friendships and family, and healing family wounds, abundance. We've created it. We've already done it. If you've been doing the work, you've already done it. Now it's the time to allow it. It's not all going to just poof, because we're not in just energetic form. So we just need to keep our hearts open and grab the opportunities, because it's a journey and it's a never-ending journey. We're never going to get everything we want to get done. So it's just taking the step by step towards all these things that we want. And it comes from being open, honest, vulnerable, and raw again and again and again. It requires us to keep opening our heart, no matter if we get hurt, because if we get hurt, we're learning, we're growing, it's beautiful. We need to realize that it's such an amazing point of growth, just like a trigger is. It's a real chance for us to understand ourselves more deeply, because everything is a mirror. If we hold beliefs that there's people, we can't trust people, then anybody who comes into our realm, we're not going to be able to trust. They're going to betray us, because that's what we believe. So we're manifesting it. So we're going to attract that energy, or somebody maybe who is trustworthy. When they're around you and you join in energies, you're going to bring out that part of them where they're not trustworthy, because that is how law of attraction works. We are magnetic beings, but we need to receive. So we're getting that opportunity now to flip our poles. When we flip poles, so what's happening at the moment is our light bodies are speeding up more and more and more, as Earth is speeding up her Schumann resonance and the amount of light she's holding. And that's happening because of the work we're doing here. We're shifting all this density out of us and through us, of these energies that we hold, that we've imprinted here on this earth plane over Mother Earth, and as we lift them, she's speeding up as well. So we're working with her, we're one with her, like we're one with everything. But we really are when we say we come from the stars to help during this time, those star seeds, that's what we're here for. That is why we're here. We're here to bring new, higher frequencies down into the earth and transmute the old frequencies, the old patterns, the old imprints on the lands of war, death, destruction that we've done for so long. And we're transmuting all this through our body all the time. So if you're in dense energy, don't fear it. No, I'm growing. I'm expanding. Spirit is helping me to grow. This is coming up for me in order for me to receive my manifestation. This is beautiful. Oh, I feel switched off though. I feel switched off from spirit. If you're switched off, you're being upgraded. None of it's bad. Stop. We need to stop this fatalistic. We have an argument with somebody, and it's not the end of the world. People argue all the time, and it's okay. We can forgive, we can move past it, we can talk about it, talk it through, and understand the lessons that were there. And if we're two conscious people, we can heal anything. So we don't have to keep cutting people out of our lives if they behave in a certain way. A lot of it's not about us. It's not about us, it's about them. And we work together, and it's this time of unity. And I keep seeing spiritual leaders saying, just if people are like this, that, or the other, you just cut them out of your lives, and you don't. That's not unity consciousness. That's the same old separation consciousness. I'm right, they're wrong. They're not good enough. I'm high vibe, they're not. It's all judgment. It's all bullshit. It's all nonsense, really. Can you love somebody who's been mistreated? Because they're only behaving like that because they've been mistreated, or something's happened to them that's made them behave in that way. Can you see them? Can you be compassionate? Can you love them anyway? That's what we're being asked to do. God doesn't judge. God loves everybody, regardless, and He honours our free will choice. And that's how we need to live. We don't have to get into their timelines and their narratives. We don't have to. We need to stay sovereign, and that's how we can help. That's how we can be the light for somebody that needs us. Can we be compassionate? God, the Spirit shows me it as like an animal. If you get an animal that's used to being free and you put it in a tiny cage for years and years and years, and it's all bound up and it's not used to being held or petted, it's going to lash out. It's going to lash out at you because it's going to feel scared of you when you first try and rescue it, or love it and give it love. And that's what we're like. We've lived in these cages and we didn't know we're in these cages. We've been mistreated and bound and restricted in all these ways. So people who don't know how to receive love, or they get threatened by love, behave in the same way. But we don't just destroy these animals. We don't just kill them. No, we take our time. We're soft, we're gentle, and we love them anyway. And eventually they'll open up and realize they're safe. They might not always be as open as other people, but they can learn. And we can only teach people how to become love by being love. And this is a time now. This is this Venus energy that's blasting through to us all. Can we really show up and be love and be love and be love to everybody? That's unity. That's what we're being asked to do. Almost becoming our angelic selves, embodying these angelic energies that are all around us now. There's so much around us that is supporting us, and when we show up, and that's being of service. And it can be in tiny ways. It can be just, I don't know, helping someone get something from a shelf in the supermarket because they can't reach, and that little bit of help brightens up their day. It can be just smiling at somebody who seems unhappy in the street. You don't know what these little acts of love and kindness, just giving of yourself and sharing of yourself, the impact it has on the world around you. And I know when there's days when if I've had days, especially in the past when I was in a real bad place, a stranger smiling at me on the street would mean so much to me, so much to me. So we're being asked now to really let these angelic energies work through us, channeling them and acting on them. So this is the divine masculine energy that's really set. Can we trust our instincts? Can we be brave enough to go and speak to that person who's always at this same place on their own, who looks really lonely and miserable? Can we open ourselves up and engage with them? Can we give them a smile? Can we give the homeless man some money on the street to help him because he's struggling? Are we able to do that? And that's what Spirit's asking. And these are just tiny acts, and we can do big acts as well of kindness. So many of us here who, as we're expanding, are realizing that after healing ourselves, we have the ability to heal others and help others in whatever traumas or pains that we've had in the past. That's what we become experts at. And there's millions of people on this planet with these problems and issues, so we're needed. Once we've overcome our problems, we went through these problems in order to lead thousands of others who have the same problem through it. But we now have a process. We now have a way. We've forged a path, so it's easier for them. But we have to put ourselves in a position and stand up now and be who we're meant to be now. Just getting onto our soul path, getting here and living our purpose. And when we do that, which is always of service to others, because it's all about growth and ascension, on this temporary life journey, then that's when our true abundance and our true everything we've been manifested and wished for can come to us. So it's a really positive time now. The energies are absolutely beautiful. My heart's been singing all day. I'm really in my feely feels. The angels are all around me, and I want that for all of you, and I want to help you to get there and to feel it. So if you're struggling with any past patterns, things that you really can't get through, that's when you need to reach out to other healers and ask for help, because that's loving yourself. Asking for help is really loving yourself. And like you said, and that's something I never did. Well, I'm learning to more and more now, and I've got beautiful souls around me who support me and are there for me now, but I never had that before, and I want you to have that. So taking one of our Reiki classes to learn to first self-love for yourself, and but you're also going to meet other beautiful like-minded souls. There's no need for you guys to be lonely or not have people around. I have people here where I live, but I have people all over the world who support me and who are there for me. Beautiful souls that I've met on this journey who started as clients of mine and things like that. But I love them all. I love them all dearly. They're all part of me, and I love sharing with them. It's building. It's a community. It's becoming a community of like-minded people. It's exactly what we've been asking for. So be brave and invest in yourself, and you're important. So reach out. There's so many light workers who are more than happy to help you. I'll help you in so many ways. I try and do as much as I can for as little as possible. But I need to live, and this is my livelihood now. So I do get supported. The universe supports me through financial as well. But everything I do is I don't overprice anything. So it's just a case of really stepping forward and seeing and facing yourself, And if you're ever in doubt of this is going on, that's going on, you just got to remember the divine mirror, that nothing is outside you. If a vibration comes to you, then and it's something you don't like, it's because it's active inside yourself. And if you can just remember that, and no matter what happens outside, bring it back inside, then you're going to grow. And accepting that that's part of you, or was part of you, or was imprinted on you in the past. And from that standpoint, you'll be in very good stead for letting go of these patterns, stepping out, stepping into your true power and authentic self. Like I said, so if any of you are struggling at the moment, and I know there are plenty who are going through a hard time as these wounds are coming up, just reach out to me, reach out to Karen, or other healers, or other friends on your social media groups. You're not alone. There's no need to be alone in this anymore. Just reach out. There's so many beautiful. There's good in this world. There's so much good in this world. There's people willing to do things for you for nothing, just because they can. And so be brave, be bold, reach out and receive that love that is everywhere. You just have to open your eyes and see it. Okay, guys, lovely to speak to you, and I'll speak to you again soon.